Picard Season 3 review, boldly going where many have been too afraid to tread. But be warned, spoilers do lie ahead. So join us now as we venture through time, television, and space, and join the world mind as we take on Picard Season 3.
Admiral on the bridge. And Captain on the bridge.
In Season 2 of The Next Generation, there's an episode entitled Q Who. And let's be honest, if you're watching this, then you probably recognize that to be the episode that introduces a new level of horror into the Star Trek universe. Hurtled into the future by a petty Q, Captain Picard is warned by the View panel member, Guyan.
The first time I lost my virginity was with my husband.
No.
I have nothing to say.
But do you want to hear about your stuff?
I have nothing to say.
I think it's sweet.
Kaina, your people have been in this part of the galaxy.
Yes. What can you tell us?
Run. Don't stay, don't explore, don't ask questions. Just run.
Only that if I were you, I'd start back now.
Possibly the best advice ever uttered by this sister act. Unfortunately for the Federation, the captain ignores her advice. This choice leads to a chain of events that bring the universe into direct conflict with a civilization that has no interest in negotiation. Its consequences are felt for decades to come and change not only Captain Picard, but the entirety of the Star Trek universe.
Since they're aware of your existence.
They will be coming.
While Season 3 of Picard may not be that level of change in the world of Star Trek, it certainly is dipping into that pool. Now, before you all start lighting the torches, please hear me out. I am in no way insinuating that this show, even this season, which I have surprisingly enjoyed, is on the same level as the Borg storyline from TNG. What I am saying is that they are leaning heavily on those elements to craft something that pays homage to it. And that those consequences from 30 years ago are once again rearing their head.
Picard implicitly trusted you.
Then trust me now. Meet to discuss your terms.
This week will not be so much of a breakdown of the episode. Rather, I'm going to try and do a supersized breakdown next week of episodes 9 and 10.
I have slaughtered countless enemies over the years and considered sending their heads to all of you.
This was the penultimate episode of the season, and as such, I'm going to give you extra time to watch it if you wish, without the big moments being spoiled for you. Now, I do want you to keep one thing in mind. While this is not going to be a straight-up spoiler review, I am going to have to spoil a couple of things. So if you don't want to hear anything, close your ears right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The first time I lost my virginity was with my husband. I have nothing.
The Borg are back. I'm sure you know that. I'm sure you probably guessed that leading into it, because you're infinitely smarter than I am. That's probably the only thing I'm going to spoil. Just keep that in mind going forward. It is kind of important. The other big moments, though, I will keep in the bag. You can go see those yourself.
You're welcome.
Instead, I would like to take the next couple of minutes to address some of the issues that people have levied against this show thus far this season. Some I agree with, and some I do not, but they all seem to be coming to a head in this episode, leading into the finale. The changelings are working for another group. They argue that they would be too proud, too strong, and too moist to ever lower themselves to that level. The counter-argument I've heard to this is that it's just a rogue group radicalized by their imprisonment and their time in Daystrom Station. I agree with that sentiment. But I believe there is an even simpler element at work. Hatred. Hatred is the most powerful tool when turning someone to your cause.
Something, dark side.
Pair that with a maybe monetary reward or a promise to be given the power of becoming a part of the collective, and I don't believe it's that much of a stretch.
Something complete.
The next point of contention comes with the Borg's motivation. I have heard the complaint that they would have no desire for something such as revenge, which makes this whole premise absurd. I disagree. It is true that the Borg are only interested in growing their strength through the collection of technology and information. This is why they dropped what they were doing and chased down the Enterprise less than 2 years after first contact with them.
Since they're aware of your existence.
They will be coming.
Which could have looked like revenge. It's why they took Picard and integrated him into their collective. It's why they continued to attempt to overtake the Federation, went back in time, and kept coming over and over and over. What may look like revenge is really much simpler. The Federation, Picard, and the crew of the USS Enterprise have defeated them time and time again. The Borg need to overtake them. They need to learn from them. It is essentially their own version of the Prime Directive. They would not stop until they have achieved their goal. This is the most inline motivation I have seen in a race or a character in an IP in forever.
I was advised that that was passive-aggressive.
Other complaints I've heard a lot. The plot's dumb, to which I just argue it's simple. Retooled to allow the showrunners to give the fans huge payoffs, which after the previous seasons, let's be honest, they deserve. Another big complaint I hear is that there's too much cursing. Well, unfortunately, that's Kurtzman Trek for you. That's the modern age. That's what we live in. I don't like it either. It feels off. But it's here to stay. And ultimately, if that's the biggest problem, I can look past it. Usually.
Fucking solid.
And of course, my personal favorite, it's too dark. Now, this is absolutely a complaint I've had. This is something I've been addressing all season. Because it's been so over the top. So much so that it had to be on purpose. So I guess it's not really so much of a complaint. And boy, was I right. And listen, I don't get to say that a lot, so please, just give it to me. For all this season has gotten wrong or gotten right, one thing is clear. Terry Matalas and the cast and crew made this show in the spirit of Star Trek. And ultimately, it's made for you, the fans. Nothing in this world is perfect, and if needed, I could probably tear this thing apart. But why? It's fun, it's not offensive, and it's not trying to attack the fans. Honestly, those are really my only 3 requirements for enjoying something. It's why I'll praise Mario with my dying breath, but will come back to life and haunt Dungeons & Dragons until the end of time.
Once the dead man is revived, we can ask him 5 questions, at which point he will die again, never to be re-revived.
Here we go. Fantastic. Where's the shovel?
One is made with love, the other with spite. Picard Seasons 1 and 2, spite. Picard Season 3, love. And unless they make a 180 in the finale, my opinion probably won't change over the course of the next week. Which I can't wait for because I really want to talk about this. More than you could possibly know. But I made a promise, so I won't. Which means, until next time, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Next week will be the supersized finale, plus continued coverage of the dumpster fire that is Garbage Nights. And this summer is going to be full of epic film reviews. Guardians 3, Indy 5, Flash, Secret Invasion, and if the film or show itself isn't epic, I promise my slaughter of it will be. Thanks as always, and see you in the next one.
Are you telling me to go yell at Celia?
No. Men do not roar. Women roar.
Now you're just making it sad.